Okay, great. And Hugh, I assume that you're driving, or we can't see your face,
Yes.
huh? We can't see your face, huh?
Yeah, I'm about to pull up. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start. So when you can, let's see your face, but I'm going to start just kind of giving people a briefing of why I called this meeting. Um, my name is Kevin Clark from the Dakar Foundation for the Performing Arts. And originally, what we were going to be talking about was the Youth Summer Internship Program that was managed by the City of LA, and specifically the Watts Youth program that Hugh's going to talk to us a little bit about. We got a notification this morning, though, that the program has been put on pause. And, no matter, because we do workarounds. My goal is to try and get everybody that's on the call to participate in some opportunities. One, for Dakar to get some contracting work with corporations who want to use our youth power to generate services. And so the job description for what it is that we're going to be tasked to do will be kind of a a mishmash of things, but literally what we did, and I'm going to point to one person on the call, Damone, um, who was actually at this assignment. We were at the um, Youth Summit. Actually, it was the Youth Summit. It was the AME Department of Education Summit that was held about 2 weeks ago. And it was at the Warner Brothers Studios in Woodbury College. It was a 3-day intensive for all of the digital media and information content technology professors, instructors, and faculty in the state of California, actually and beyond state of California, to really network and talk about all of the different tactics and techniques that would be used to hit people into something called pre-apprenticeship and ultimately apprenticeship. So I'm going to be focusing on trying to meet the standards for getting people prepared for pre-apprenticeship, not something called internship or volunteer work or anything else. It's going to be framed by pre-apprenticeship. There's some funding available, but more importantly, this pre-apprenticeship program is something that will allow people to get the features and benefits of what a long-term engagement with a corporation and a corporation's culture would be. The first potential client that we have and that we met at the summer at the AME Institute was Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers Discovery. We brought a group of students there to literally provide, I would call it backpack journalism. But what we did is showed up and we became the default social media management for the 3-day conference. They had over 700 faculty from all around the country that literally were in different panels that were going on simultaneously. And a lot of the people were presenting Adobe, Dolby, some of the guilds and unions. All of them were featuring panels and workshops that helped help the instructors get a better understanding of how to apply this towards pre-apprenticeship. So what happened is that we got an opportunity to interview a lot of these people as backpack journalists, and we were offered an opportunity to meet with Warner Brothers after interviewing them, because they said this is a missing piece, a huge opportunity for them to bring a service that they have not used in all of their public relations engagement, is to capture, cover, publish, and distribute all the activities and events that they produce around the year. So what I'm going to be doing is trying to assemble a group that will meet with the folks at Warner Brothers at the end of July to talk about really providing the services that they're asking for. They're going to give us a very precise requirement for what they're looking for in terms of services. But what we're looking for in terms of pre-apprentice candidates, I have a very good idea of what I'm looking for. And Damone was part of that crew. We're definitely looking for people who can capture. That means with any device. It could be a cell phone, It also could be with a higher end camera, but the idea is to capture and to be able to be part of a crew that can actually interview some of the key people that Warner Brothers or anybody that they would actually point us to, that we could actually not only capture, but we could actually interview these people with a camera kit that would include obviously lighting and microphones. And so those are the things that I think are baseline that we need as people who know how to capture, how to interview, and then of course, how do we post produce that content so that we can actually deliver something to the client. And then lastly, what we need is people who know how to do social media management. Those are people who obviously are capable of posting, publishing content on platforms. And the goal really for us there is just to find out what the client wants to do in terms of social media management. But I suppose that everybody who knows what social media management could be is probably doing a little bit of that on their own with their own social media networks. So those are the things that kind of provide kind of a snapshot of the archetype of person that we're looking for to be part of this crew. But that's only one of several opportunities that I know will help Dakar get paid clients so that we can then obviously make sure that every student on the team learns how to deliver the service and learns the business of the visit, the business of the business of delivering content to a client. And that's not only on budget, on platform, and on schedule. And Terrence has joined the call, and we've been talking to Terrence about making sure we had a crew that learned the business of the business of delivering content that would allow us to understand how people make money in digital media. So I'm going to stop talking now and see if we can get Hugh. Hugh, are you still unable to let us see a little video of yourself?
Yeah, I'm getting into the office right now. So as soon as I get in,
Okay.
I think I'll be able to set things up.
All right, great. So what I'm going to do, if as long as you can hear Hugh, I'm going to introduce a couple of people because I know
Okay.
time is short. Rashid Bahati, if you can introduce yourself to the team. We've got I think enough time after Hugh leaves for us to do more in-depth introductions, but I want to make sure that I get Hugh to listen a little bit about some of the things that you're doing, Rashid, and then
Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, my name is Rashid Bahati. I am the executive director of a foundation based here in Los Angeles called the Bahati Foundation. The foundation was created probably 12 years ago, and my son founded the foundation. He's a 10-time US champion cyclist. So from the neighborhood in South Central Los Angeles, he was able to get into the sport of cycling. And at this particular point, as I said, he's a 10-time US champion cyclist. He's a pro cyclist, and he started this foundation to get young people involved in the sport of cycling. So with that said, we have quite a few different outreach programs that we work with young people as well. And then just to give you a little background about myself, other than working with the Bahati Foundation, I'm also a film producer and executive producer. So I've been in the film business for quite a few years, as well as I actually taught TV and film. Compton Unified School District and Compton College, and several other situations to get people engaged in, media activities like that. So I'm very interested. Kevin called me yesterday, very interested in how we could get some of the young people involved with the Bahati Foundation to do some video capture, some editing, things of that nature, because we're always in a position where we need to showcase what we do. Just got a call this morning from a major concern wanting to showcase us, our foundation, within their publications. They publish a lot of sports-oriented magazines, and they have television and new media platforms as well. So they want to do a special presentation about the Bahati Foundation. So I would require some production help, some capture, some editing, and finishing and delivery for these various platforms. So I'm very interested in talking about that. So that's a pretty quick thumbnail about what's going on with the Bahati Foundation.
Okay, great. And yeah, we're just trying to do a little soft shoe until Hugh can join us by video, and then he's going to tell us a little bit about the state of the youth internship program, and also a little bit of the composition of the people that are currently in the program at youth, I mean, the Watts Youth program, and obviously the inventory of talent that they have there. Terrence, I guess if you can introduce yourself to a couple of the people. You've met JP and Damone, but you haven't met Deja yet. So Terrence, if you can introduce yourself and talk a little bit about, in a perfect world, what kind of talent are you looking for any of the productions or any of the work that you have in mind?
Sure. So Terrence Coles, I'm a Chief Revenue Officer of Wow Yow, an AI tech company, but also producing content and work with Rashid and the Bahati Foundation and other partners. So a lot of what we're doing is, so I have content that we just did from the Harlem Criterion Cycling that we were both at in Harlem. And so I'm doing some recap. I'm actually trying to prepare a 22-minute show that we can put on digital and two versions of it. One version is call it the cycling or sports related version, right? That would focus on that. And the second version is more of a human interest piece based on the 50th anniversary of the cycling event in Harlem and really the backdrop of that around a nonprofit campaign that we did sponsor it for called the Red Card. That's a pledge to end gender-based violence and discrimination against women and girls. So I have a drive full of a bunch of footage. I've done a little recap piece. That's the one thing I could show you guys that, but we're looking to take some of that and work on in a 22-minute that could air. Certainly there's work to be done, I think, in this editing, post, and then we're doing some launches for different music video projects and things in the NFT space. And all of those need either creative assets, graphic assets, and then there's also a need for web design. So those are the main areas. It'd be digital, sort of creative, web design, if anybody has those skill sets, or as Rashid would say, the editing down of delivering final product for different versions.
Okay, wait, Terrence. So we're still doing a little. Okay, here we go. We're still trying to get Hugh on. He's going to join us hopefully in the next, because he's got a hard stop at 10:30. But hopefully we get a chance to see him.
Well, if you want, I can show you a couple things.
Yeah. So, hey, so I'm going to go around the horn, and from left to right, or at least from my left to right, I'm going to do some brief introductions and have you guys do a 60-second, no more than 60-second introduction of your who, what, where, why, and how you plan on impacting the digital media career space. So, JP, can you tell us a little bit about that journey for yourself?
Yeah, so my name is JP. I'm 20 years old, and I've been into film since I was a little kid. It's always something I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I never really had that support from my family wanting to go into film, and that's what kind of pushed me to want to do even more, because it is my passion. It's something I'm very interested in, and being able to visually show a story and being able to impact others the same way that I've been impacted by watching a lot of documentaries, movies, TV shows. It's definitely something that I'm very passionate about and want to be able to share and grow into within the industry. And I've been very fortunate and lucky to meet a lot of people who are more than willing to help and support me get into this industry. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to do, and I'm very grateful and honored to be here in this meeting.
Okay, and also, again, JP, this is for all the other young people on the call. Can you tell me what is your, let's say if I had to ask, what was your number one asset that you could bring to the table in terms of skill or mindset, what would it be? So JP, what would be the number one thing you could bring to the table for a team?
For me personally, I feel like my best quality is like diversity. I'm always willing to learn every single aspect that there is about filming. Most of the time that I've done projects or like little videos and side pieces here, I'm usually the one behind the camera, and Lamont has done a really great job of teaching me how to capture angles and try to be creative on how to capture my subject and just try to think outside the box. I'm still learning, and I want to take in as much information as possible. But I'm also like really good with editing as well. I have a whole PC set up. I try to always learn different techniques on how to edit, make my videos better and stand out. And I'm also not afraid to be in front of the camera at times. I love acting. I did theater in high school. So again, I'm just a very diverse individual and will be more than willing to learn every piece that there is in a part of filmmaking.
Great, thank you, JP. Okay, so the star of the show is Hugh, and I know you've only got, what, 8 minutes, Hugh? So if you can, give us literally the state of affairs for the program, and by Rashid, who you've not met yet, give us the composition of the young people, the talent that you have that are already enrolled in the program and are capable of going to a internship or a pre-apprenticeship opportunity.
Okay, first, morning, everyone. Let me tell you the state of the summer youth employment system. Normally, we'll hire about 3 to 4, maybe 500 youth per summer, and age range from 14 to 24. So these are kids from junior high, high school, college, and those are not into the system, educational system. However, this summer, the city decided that they just first wanted to focus on the most needs population, which are participants who are receiving some form of government aid, specifically financial aid and other services. So they have stopped some of the other programs that that funded some of our summer youth for us to just focus for the next 2 months on the hardest to serve the hardest need participant in the community. By the way, I work here in the Watts community, Southeast Los Angeles. All right, so that's where the status of our program is. So we'll have intern this summer, but not at the numbers we normally have during the summer. And so that limit the amount of internship that we can offer throughout the city. Okay,
great. And so you asked me kind of for a job description for the people that you're going to be serving. And as you just described, some of the folks who have maybe the greatest needs in terms of wraparound services and other things. Right. Could you give us the archetype of the students who could meet a opportunity for which Rashid and Terrence have, as well as me, opportunities to capture, to curate and publish and distribute content? Because that's really what I think would be the product that we're looking to deliver to the marketplace. And these are real opportunities for people to learn the business of content creation, delivery, and monetization.
Okay, well, the first group I would think of, we have the initial students those are in high school. These are kids primarily that they're doing, like the young man that just spoke before, they've been doing video production on their own. They have their podcasts, they have their YouTube channels and things like that. They're into digital and animations and things like that. That's the group. And these are the kids that comes with already the motivation to do media. And then the next group will be the ones that are in college that are studying media. And so, so they'll be a little bit more advanced than the high school students, and that will be the second group.
Mm-hmm. And what numbers do you think, if you were to recommend us to the people who could take on an opportunity, and what numbers do you think you have people at your Watts Center that could actually go on an assignment and capture, cover, and deliver, let's say, a sample product, a YouTube?
Well, before 2 weeks ago, before I went on vacation, I would have said we would have a large pool to select from. However, coming back from vacation this week and finding out that they have limited the number of internships available, I really can't give you an exact figure. And if I tell you something, it will just be a guess. And I really would rather not do that.
Okay. Well, yeah, because everything is very fluid for me. I'm now tasked with getting the young people on the call some opportunities to be part of something I'm going to do for Warner Brothers. But I also have some, we have Rashid and Terrence on here who are also, kind of trying to figure out how to match up young people with opportunities to
Right.
not only learn, but actually to produce, and we call it product-based learning, not project-based learning. How to make sure that the product becomes something that is really tangible to
Yeah.
someone else other than the learning experience.
Yeah.
And
I think
that's kind of where I would believe if we have got another couple of minutes with you, Terrence, can you point to some of the things that could help to figure out how to get some of Hugh's talent onboarded with your idea of getting these people sourced for anything that you can think of that could actually help bring them closer?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing would be to have them, whoever you think, and really I'm talking about, a key 3 or 4 folks that we can pair up with folks here on this call, right? And sort of with basic skills, right? Sort of a self-evaluation and then submitting a portfolio, just some sample of work. I mean, I can show you guys a sample video that was just created, for the Harlem Criterion, but it's the kind of thing that I'm looking for, right? It's a cut down, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, Kevin, I'll show you what that video looks like, but I would show people an example of this. So I don't know if you let me share, I'll show you this quick video, and it'll give you an idea of the output that I think we'd be looking for to pull something together. So.
And Hugh, how much time do you have? I know you said you had at 10:30. Can
It's
you
52 seconds long.
minute?
Yeah, it's a 52 second long video. If you guys can see.
stretch a bit, but
Okay.
yeah, I have yeah.
So here's a quick recap of the event that Rashid and I were both at. And Rashid, you haven't even seen this, but I'm gonna miss our call later, so you get to see what I was gonna show at that call. Okay.
Terrence, we can't hear the audio.
You can't hear?
Yes, we got it.
There you go.
I don't know how to help you hear. That's my mic. So really, that's it. I mean, so you get that's a 52-second clip that recapped an 8-hour day in Harlem and the rest. But the idea, the challenge to that particular person, and she's 24 years old. She's a 3rd grade teacher who edited that. Richard Gant, my business partner, is his daughter. But basically, her challenge was take 8 hours worth of footage and give me a recap in less than a minute that we could show our work for, right? That was, and then I have all that footage, and I'd love somebody to then go back and say, hey guys, we want to do a 22-minute version of all the 8 hours of footage we have. That could be a show from that. And for me, if we could pull together a team of folks that would be willing to go through, I mean, I got a bunch of content sitting on a drive, and that would be an idea. Hey, let's work together on that project. I need to deliver something like that in a couple of weeks. Okay, here's our project. Who's in? And we, production meetings, working on it every day. Who's making the cut? What kind of music? What's it look like? That'd be the kind of thing that we just want some people. I mean, and Rashid, Rashid knows that business. He's got a project that's related to cycling. So somebody who really could take what we already have in the can and make something out of it might be the right person that would matriculate into what Rashid's doing for a long-term project. He's got lots of deliverables for the movies, working on trailers and all that. But I think that's a way to ease people into it, right? And we figure it out as we go. I mean, literally, if a 3rd grade teacher who just edited on her basic system with whatever could make that recap, that's what we're talking about. And that's a recurring skill that, she could have easily gotten $500 to do that cut down. So, our goal is to submit ourselves to show you can take all this stuff, create these versions so that we can audition for the Warner Brothers gig, right? Because that's what they're going to want. They're going to want you to go in for a day, shoot a bunch of stuff, be able to come back with a 1-minute promo recap, and be able to create probably a longer form that they could put up on a site or somewhere else. So this is a rinse and repeat strategy for a digital agency in terms of your deliverables. And then maybe you have to do a TikTok version, an Instagram version, all the different formats to put it out in social. So I just talked to another producer, And she's now giving me landscape and portrait versions of a project we did based on the specs we need for IG, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and on their website. So 5 versions and 3 different edits. And so the deliverable was like 15 pieces of content off of one thing we did. That's the kind of thing a digital agency could do. And if you show proficiency as delivering that, then that's something that anybody who's part of the team would have from a skill set that you could say, okay, great, I can deliver digital media, deliver the cut downs, but you're down to specifics in terms of format and the rest. I mean, Rashid, I'll defer to you if I miss anything.
I think you're saying everything that's so important. And going back to what Kevin, what you was, saying about product-based learning, this is an opportunity for interns, young people that are engaged in this new media environment to learn how to actually make money at doing these types of projects, period. And make good money at it, and can graduate through a process where you could be with a major studio. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Learning something hands-on and then matriculate through a process where you can get to making real big money doing it. So I'm excited.
Right, and Hugh, with the few minutes you have left, I want to introduce a young lady that I currently am trying to put into my project, and she and I have really not discussed anything more than just potentially onboarding with the summer internship. But now we're going to pivot. But I want to introduce a young lady who was introduced to me by Jay Tucker. Deja, if you can introduce yourself to the rest of the team, so that we can figure out how we can introduce you to a process of learning how to produce product.
Sure. Hi, I'm Deja. I'm 20 years old. I am studying screenwriting at Loyola Marymount University. Yeah, I just have a really intense love for film. I've loved it since I was really young. I really love the writing aspect of it, but I do have some experience with production. Yeah.
Well, no, you've got a lot to say, but I just wanted to make sure that they knew that you existed and you're willing to do whatever, you're down for whatever to be part of the team. So Hugh, if you can, before you have to break contact, one of the things that we're definitely interested in doing is using the Watts Youth Center as a hub to do not only product-based learning laboratory work, but actually to do some training and bring in some speakers and anything else we can do that's experiential. So,
is there software at the Watts U? Do you have software there, like the Adobe Creative Cloud? Like, are all those computers outfitted with that kind of software?
We have about 10 Apple computers. We're currently we're a city agency, by the way. We're one of 2 city agency that work directly in the community. So we're putting a request to get some program softwares, but it hasn't come in as yet.
Okay.
We do have a space that we do for movie editing. We have a recording studio here as well. So we have some of the hardware in place.
Yeah.
And now it's just trying to get some of the softwares in.
Okay. Ray, where are you located exactly?
We're in South LA. We're on 1773 East Century Boulevard. So we're right in the city of Watts.
Yeah. No, you're right there. I mean, when I went, Rashid, we could go down there one day.
You're close to the center that's there already, right? There's a center, what's it called? The Watts Training Center?
Yeah, they're not too far away from us, right?
Right. So you're north of them or south?
We're south of them.
Oh, okay. 1773 East Century?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a 3-story building right there with the gym in the bottom and all the rest. It's right on the corner. Anyway, it's right in the middle of Watts.
What's the cross street? What's the cross street?
I would say Compton and the main cross street would be Compton. and century.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Actually, I'm writing a little student here.
Yep. So they got the computer and the board. They need like Logic or Pro Tools and somebody who can operate it.
Right.
And that was one of the requests that Hugh had for us, is to find somebody that could actually help us operate the board and some of the equipment, some of the
Oh,
hardware.
okay, so you need some people that can train.
Exactly. Because
Okay.
we have a high degree of interest in this community with the kids. That's why I built this studio in the first place. And so we've gotten those pieces together. Now it's really getting the training, bringing folks in that can help them to sharpen and improve their skill sets.
Yeah, and you think we could do original? I mean, look, if, like Daisy, you say you write. I mean, you could do original music behind that, right? So you can imagine that one piece. You could actually write a script, you know, for that piece, and then put original music behind it, because that was just a rough track, no audio, right? So we need background music, but you can see how you tighten that up, and you got all the resources. We just need to put the software and people in place.
Right.
But the room is nice. I mean, the recording room is great, man. I mean, I think you have some of the pieces. Is that board rigged into that room so you can control?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's set up. We just need the technical skill set to make it fully operational. But yes.
We
Right.
need a sound engineer.
Hugh, do you have a meeting space that could hold 20 to 30 people in it?
We have a conference room. We have 2 classrooms. Our largest classroom can hold about 25, 30. We have a gym, a basketball gym.
Right,
So,
yeah. So
yeah.
the gym, I mean, if let's say we had more than 20 to 25 people, if we wanted to do a workshop or experience, we could actually use the gymnasium, as long as nobody's playing basketball and they're at that day. And you control that basketball.
Yeah, we
gymnasium.
control the schedule of the rooms here. So it will be based on how we set it up.
Okay, great. Yeah, because we're definitely looking at doing some type of experiential workshop where we can bring in some of the mentors and some of the professional people to meet some of the youth. That's
Right.
one of the opportunities. It's one of the activities that I'd love to have happen, because it's really hard to get everybody in the same room, even on Zoom, but physically, I think that's one of the things we need to have, COVID, notwithstanding, to be able to put people in the same space so that we can have an activity that will allow everybody to just get familiar with one another and how we work together. So that's what we're looking for, before the summer ends.
Yeah, one thing I want to
I'd
say
like to have a
before I go.
student-
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go
But I
ahead.
was saying, I'd like to have a student workshop based on the people. I know you said there's less interns than the rest, but Kevin, if we have a few folks here, the few interns that you do have that are interested, even if it's a group of 10 kids, I'd be very interested in, again, Kevin, like I said, just this general overview, 1 day in workshop, right? And we come in the morning, we talk about stuff, and we try to produce some stuff in the afternoon, or at least walk through what it takes to produce some stuff in the afternoon, just as an intro, right? Just to assess interest and figure out who would be part of it. I think that's what we talked about last time, is how do we get a small group of people, assess interest of people who would be willing to get on a project with me, Rashid, whatever. And, again, this Harlem Crit stuff is there. Rashid's in the cycling realm. The Bahati Foundation is a partner already of what we just did with the ARDN. I mean, we have a project and it has some need right now.
Right.
I mean,
I like that idea. That's a great idea. And let me just, one thing before I go to is that although they reduced the funding for the summer, the good thing is it will start back up by the end of the summer. So if you also have interns that you like to have on board to work for projects for you, we could, once that funding source is released, also bring them on board so we can pay them a stipend to work with your projects as well.
Right.
Wow, that's excellent. That's excellent. So
So
Hugh, would you give us the opportunity to look at your calendar for a meetup, just for planning something that could work for introducing everything and funneling everything into some product or project to product, could you give us a calendar? Not right now, but just when you get a chance, give us a calendar date so we can do another meetup. And then for people like Rashid, JP, and Deja, an opportunity to tour the facility.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so throw that back and give us a couple of dates and a couple of times, and I'll circulate that with everybody on the calendar and
No
see
problem.
if we can make that happen. So if everybody else can stay on the call for a few minutes, but Hugh, thank you for joining us, and we'll look for that calendar date. Okay, all right. I have one other young person on the call, Rashid. I know you got to bounce too.
And I do too, unfortunately.
Okay, Ty, if you can you unmute and introduce yourself? You're a San Francisco State student that's going to go back to San Francisco State at the end of the semester, I believe.
Hi, my name's Ty. So sorry that I'm not like showing my face right now. Everything's kind of a mess, but I do go to school in San Francisco. I'm most likely going to head back, but I might end up staying in the city, like if my classes are continue to be online. But yeah, and right now my major is fashion design, and that's something that I've always been passionate about. I throughout my life, I've also worked a lot in film and cinematography because my uncle has always been like really deeply into cinematography and like filming, and so he very much helped me with those skills and like growing up as a kid. And so and to answer the question you had earlier about like what skills I feel like that we would bring to the table, I feel like my skill would be how well I get along with people, like how curious and the I feel like the ideas that I come up with creatively are very unique and can definitely help bring us in a direction that like maybe if we're stuck, I can offer new ideas and take us into like a new direction. And yeah.
That's cool. Ty, and I'll give everybody more background. He's at San Francisco State University. And we're working with the Cal State. So again, Rashid, I know any last second comments, suggestions, or comments you want to make?
I appreciate it, Kevin. You continually reaching out because what you're doing is so important. And I think to connect those dots is a great opportunity for these young people who are seeking to get into the field on whatever level. So the whole concept of product and product-based learning is so key. It immediately empowers a young person to do something when they get that skill set. So in working with real projects, real world, this is how it works. This is how you put it together. And at the end of the process, you now understand the process. That is so critical. So count us in. And I'm very open to go. And like you said, Terrence, we can conduct a morning workshop and an evening, this is the product type of thing.
No, I really want
to,
because I really think it takes too long. And Kevin, I've been saying that, we could go through a bureaucratic process, but if you guys are willing and y'all show up and we could talk about it in the morning and that afternoon, we're doing it and coming out of there with a product and y'all can watch and participate. And I'd say this, think about, you guys together should start thinking about an idea. If you had something you want to shoot, even at that car video recap to pitch the program would be a reasonable idea and a script and a creative. But if you as a team started coming together and then you came into the room and said, hey, we'll talk to you about how this gets done and we'll shoot your stuff as opposed to my stuff, right? Just come in and do that kind of thing. I think it'll help to see your ideas come to fruition, and we'll provide the feedback on the process for your ideas so then you can come and put the process on our ideas.
Yeah, right. Well, this all sounds like it's going to happen. I'm going to put the calendar opportunity for Hugh, and then see if we can actually agree to meet up, and then you know, see what happens. Because again, it's for me, it's movie magic, you know, to see who shows up. So again,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
look, I appreciate all you guys for showing up. I got to give a shout out to you, Damone. You show up all the time. And so I appreciate seeing you on the screen and that part. And JP, this is twice, and I'm just meeting you, Deja and Ty.
Right.
But I recognize who's around, and I
Right.
appreciate the people
and
that show
yeah,
up.
and we had several people who couldn't make it. Daji, is it JP? Is it Daji? How do you pronounce Daji's name?
Yeah, it's Daji. It's short for Dajanique. So yeah,
Dajanique. Right. So
so
Daji had a doctor's appointment, so she couldn't make the call. And then there were several other people who had conflicts. But literally, what I'm trying to build is a team of people who are willing to show up.
Dude, if I'm showing up and I got a serious ass job, y'all got to show up.
So that's really what's happening.
Anyway,
Because again,
sorry to be blunt, but man, I
Yeah,
appreciate it. I wanted to just
so
shout y'all out and make sure.
thank you guys again. It means so much to me to show people who, without offering monetary incentives, to show up, because that's the mindset. That is the character that I'm looking for, because a lot of the things that I've learned about this whole pre-apprenticeship thing is that it does pay. There's a lot of resources, but a lot of the people that we're looking for would do this for nothing, because it's such a great opportunity to learn the business of the industry that you're trying to get into. But we will have resources for you guys. So thank you again. And so, you know, again, look for our calendar invite for you guys to show up in person at Watts. And I'll be dealing with each one of you individually about, you know, your path to getting to the project that, you know, I have in mind at Warner Brothers. Okay.
All right, I'm out.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
sounds good.
All right now.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Have a good day.